you gave me a choice between 50 seconds of logos or 50 seconds of basic-ass white titles on a black screen, I'm choosing F you, movie. Here's Daniel riding up on his bike and Miyagi trying to catch flies like in the first movie. Wait, the yellow car's still here? Is this a flashback version of In Medias Res? In Beginninus Res?
Man who catch fly with chopstick accomplish anything.
I'm not so sure it's the chopstick part that's even the hardest part of this equation. It's probably training the fly to only fly directly in front of you in the same general space of the house while you repeatedly stab at it for minutes on end. Also, didn't we already sin this movie? Look, if your movie is just going to be scenes from the other movie, then my video can just be sins from the other video. What biting yet insightful commentary did I have on this the first time?
I once chopped my stick with my fly. Does that count?
Deep and meaningful as always.
If do right, no can defense.
Could you teach me?
Movie continues to previously on only the parts of the first movie that featured Daniel and Miyagi to lull us into a revisionist delusion that the whole alley romance thing never really mattered. Miyagi climbing this chain link fence without making any chain link noise that would give him away is a sin I must have missed in the first movie, so I'm giving it a sin here and a retroactive one for the original as well. I mean, at this point, we're showing so much of the first movie that I'm not sure if that actually happened or if I just saw this movie and made up the first film in my head. I half expect to find out it's some sort of Mandela effect. Mass gaslighting experiment, and they actually just started the Karate Kid movies with Karate Kid 2. Still shouldn't count.
Hey, Mr. Miyagi, you know I was thinking.
How about what?
Holy f***, why is his coach hanging out right here? This is f***ing creepy. I know the movie wants to have this conversation, but Jesus f*** all Christ.
Ali and mother wait for us at restaurant.
Do they? Do they really? Allie isn't even in this movie, you lying dick face.
People are going to be talking about that last kick for years.
Yeah, they will be, but mostly about how, while a legal move, it isn't anywhere near as creative or indefensible as the movie makes it seem. Pat Morita rules. Mercy may be for the weak, but I can't help myself here. What does any of this sequel storyline have to gain by starting here at the very end of the All Valley tournament?
Beat it. Or you're next.
Using racial slurs that are obscure enough that kids watching this movie had to ask about them on the playground and ended up in the principal's office for their curiosity. It's something that probably happened to someone. Move out of the way so I can punch through a car window and shred my hand with glass once? Shame on you. Move out of the way so I can punch through a car window and shred my hand with glass twice? Shame on the movie for having a character that's stupid. Miyagi spits back a bunch of Krieg's phrases about hating the weak and ends by faking a chop and honking his nose instead of actually delivering a killing blow. And I guess you could maybe call this Chekhov's nose honking. Wait, that's not a Chekhov's gun because the movie isn't showing us a hand that then later honks a nose. I guess this would be more of a foreshadowed nose honking. Nose honk shadowing?
You could have killed him, couldn't you?
Hey,
Well, why didn't you then?
Daniel genuinely asks his pacifist mentor why he didn't just murder a man in cold blood. This is where the movie should have started.
First, I let Allie borrow the car and she redesigns my fender. And I don't know what you do with the engine, but that ain't running right either.
Woman drivers, am I right? This movie. Leaving random open bags of Chips Ahoy laying around on the fridge, prioritizing the strategic product placement over long-term freshness. You know, if Miyagi would close his fucking doors, he might not have so many flies inside his house needing capture by chopsticks.
when you feel life out of focus, always return to basic of life.
That's vague, so I'm gonna go free association on it. Basic of life. Atoms are the basic building blocks of all matter, right? So Adam, maybe Adam and Eve. Eve 6 Underground. Ryan Reynolds. Return to Ryan Reynolds. Movie breathes on for all the some Chekhov's breathing technique time.
Breathe in through nose, breathe out to mouth.
Hey, that's not karate, that's just a mindfulness breathing exercise.
Hey, I did it.
The number of nails, boards, and fingers that were destroyed because of this movie's irresponsible valorization of the one-shot hammer technique is an economic and medical loss this country is still feeling today.
Yagi talked to mother last night too.
The terrible delivery of this your mom joke.
Iced tea.
That is the weakest iced tea I've ever seen in my life. Nothing says customer service quite like being open Tuesday through Saturday for only 6 hours a day. This reminds me of a cupcake shop that opened near me 12 years ago during the cupcake shop boom. They were open Monday through Thursday, 11 to 3. Every time I drove by, I thought to myself, they're closed on literally all the best cupcake days of the week.
You know, you never told me. Why'd you ever leave Okinawa in the first place?
I figured since I came with you to stand in line for this menial bureaucratic process, we might as well start some heavy expositioning.
You think he's still alive?
We were same age.
So, yes? No? If you don't know, just say I don't know. Even spiritual gurus are allowed to occasionally just give a straight answer to a question, you know?
So, challenge Miyagi to fight to save his honor.
Almost like he was one man who would fight for her honor.
I guess I better get going. I gotta go help my mom pack.
Maybe you should have thought about that before you spent the entire day doing expositional chores with Miyagi, huh? Daniel has the compassion and foresight to go with Miyagi on this trip, but not the compassion or foresight to let him know he would meet him at the airport instead of coming to see him off at his house. He apparently cares more about the audience feeling the joy of this surprise than he does about the guy who has mentored him through forced manual labor for the last year.
Very expensive ticket.
Well, no, I got the money out of my savings account.
That is exactly the point, Daniel. That money is for college and not palling around with Miyagi in Japan. Did you ever stop to think that maybe he wanted to go on this trip alone? Also, they were having a 2-minute conversation about the financial viability of Daniel going on this trip while standing in the jetway, and all about a flight Daniel already bought a ticket for.
Mr. Miyagi, you're more important than college.
And then Miyagi realized that Daniel had learned all the wrong lessons and refused to allow him to travel to Okinawa with him. The end. Wait, that's not what happens? Daniel is a dick to everyone else on this overnight flight.
How do you know who wins?
The one who did does it.
Movie does not contain a Bloodsport prequel.
It's pretty weird having somebody go through my stuff like that. Glad I didn't have any dirty laundry.
You know, Daniel, half the people on flights have dirty laundry in their bags because they're coming home from a trip. You yourself will have dirty laundry in your bag on the return trip. I know you're an idiot, but try to do better.
Mr. Miyagi, isn't that him?
It is. Maybe when you see him later, you can ask him why he paid for a giant poster written in English at the Okinawa airport.
You speak very good English, Togut-san.
In Okinawa, it helped to speak very good English.
It also helps to avoid the audience having to read subtitles, but yeah, mainly the military base thing is why I'm speaking English to you now. Once you realize how squished together people in the back seats of cars and movies are, just so that they can be in the frame, you can never unsee it. Daniel and Miyagi are basically on top of each other back there.
What's going on?
No talking!
See, this is why you don't get in cars just because someone has a sign with your name on it. If you aren't expecting a car service, never get in strange cars.
So, coward, you return.
Well, his father is either dead or about to die. I'm sure you know that, actually. But also, why is he speaking English when talking to his old friend enemy about an ancient Japanese beef between them?
Sato, I no fight you.
The end. Good seeing everyone again. Catch you for KK3. Wait, why is the movie still going?
You see your father. Then you see me.
I think this movie's presentation of Japanese honor is weirdly based on geography. Like, Miyagi's been in America for 40 years or more. Sato never went after him. Now that Miyagi is on Okinawan soil again, suddenly Sato has the bloodlust. It's like Captain Ahab dropping anchor and saying, I hate that fucking Moby Dick so much, I'm gonna murder it to pieces and skin it alive. But only if it comes right up to the boat.
Sarge, Toby Village!
You standing on it, Corporal!
Not realizing you're stomping on top of an entire village. The American military was the real Godzilla all along. Well, at least I understand why we did the 5-minute recap of the first movie now, because it's been over 30 minutes now, and as much as I've seen of the kid, I have seen zero of the karate.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Kumiko.
It's not a Karate Kid property until everyone has met all sides of the love triangle. Glad everyone has proper romantic motivation for the plot now, so we can continue. The producers of this movie really were like, hey, Pat got nominated for an Oscar in the first movie. Let's lean into that for the second one. Surely that was the reason it was a success, right? No need to get bogged down in the silly karate tournament stuff. We've got gold here.
I never married.
Man, think about all the sex these two didn't have.
What did he say?
If I am dreaming, let me never awake. If I am awake, let me never sleep.
I have a similar saying. If a movie puts me to sleep, let me never awake. If a movie... So I'm going to fade to reflecting water as a contemplation of the soul and fluid spirituality, and then pan up to a beautiful landscape. Then I'm going to shoot Daniel exiting the home, but do it from behind some foliage, as if he is emerging into a new world, his true self hidden, as he figures out what his next chapter might entail. Oh, John, you do know this is a Karate Kid movie, right?
Good morning, Daniel-san.
Good morning.
Welcome to Miyagi Family Dojo.
After the expositional carpentry lesson, the expositional passport line, the expositional suitcase packing, and the expositional airplane ride, I'm glad it's finally time for the expositional dojo tour. I was wondering when we might finally get some backstory up in here.
Secret of Miyagi Family Karate.
Your family's karate style has a special secret, and you didn't teach it to him last movie?
Rule number 1, karate for defense only.
Which makes karate tournaments a complete oxymoron and the height of hypocrisy.
When I left, he was same place, doing same thing, playing same tune.
Losers with no ambition.
My father, some others, invent whole new economy.
And now we're on the expositional walkabout town. They should have just named the movie Karate Kid. Oops, all exposition.
After school, Kumiko teach Obon dance to kids.
After school? Daniel just got up. And I know jet lag is a thing, but how short is school for these kids? What time is it? Is it supper?
Boy, it must have been terrible here. 15,000 Americans killed in like 10 days.
Yeah, and 150,000 Okinawan and Japanese. Why? We all so stupid.
Movie wants its war, what is it good for question without really having the time to explore its absolutely nothing answer. Miyagi senses this car approaching before the car is visible.
You leave me no choice.
Your father, he want you. And you too.
Deus ex last requestina. Also, Sato wanted to fight him now, but first he takes off his jacket and glasses but wasn't going to take off the tie? Not even loosen it? Think about the good fortune Papa Yagi had to be able to do this. Not only did they get there just in time, but Sato just happened to be squaring up to Miyagi at the exact moment he sent Yukie out to find them.
Out of respect for my teacher, I give you 3 days to mourn.
If I'm Miyagi, I fly back to LA and do my mourning there, because Sato has shown his revenge boner has a range roughly the radius of Okinawa. Why is f***ing Daniel the second person to release a lantern? Everyone else here at least knew the dead guy. Movie contains 78% people looking at old-timey photos, 14% Pat Morita looking sad, and 0.0003% karate. Hey, I figured you'd be out here at this spot you've never shown me and I've never been to. Guess I was right. This moment and shot are spectacular, and I'd have to be a heartless bastard to still add a sin, because I didn't sign up for an art film when I sat down to watch a Karate Kid sequel. I'll give you 3 days to mourn your father and spar with your student.
Never stop war by taking part in one.
That is patently false.
Not matter who's stronger, matter who's smarter.
Not being smart enough to know that both things matter. Also important, who's faster, who's quicker, and who's stamina-ier.
Drum technique, understand?
I'm having trouble. Can you explain it by making me do a chore over and over again? It's the only way I can learn now.
Father say use drum technique only as last resort.
What? Why? It's just a basic dodge. It's not even a great move. It's just dodge a center attack, but do so where you end up with both arms behind your body and your weight on your back foot so you're susceptible to an attack. That's easy.
That guy's uncle own everything?
Why say that guy's uncle instead of just saying Sato, as you have been for the last several minutes?
Daniel-san, lie become truth only if person wanna believe it.
Say what now? You can turn a lie into a truth through belief alone? Hold on, I have a few very specific things I need to spend some time believing. I'll be back.
What is this?
Daniel Inspector Clouseau his way into proving that his rival is a cheat, because the movie remembered over halfway through that they should probably do at least a little bit of setup on their rivalry before they start punching each other at the end.
You still remember our song?
He declared his love for you and then left the country for 40 years out of shame for having disgraced his family and his best friend, and you think he forgot your song?
My father, he ever tell you how he feel when I leave?
Why are they speaking English to one another?
Except for one thing, I should have taken you with me.
Except then you would have been happy in America, probably not a loner who just happened to be there when Daniel needed you. So the skeleton crew would have beaten Daniel up, and he would have retreated to a dark place through school, shut off from the world, daily contemplating his place in the darkness and the cruelty around him. Actions have consequences, you narcissistic asshole. This f***ing drum. So you're telling me that of all places Daniel could have chosen to try and learn from the drum, he chose the very center of a bridge these villagers use to cross waterways? Main character much, Daniel? You know, there's a whole Miyagi family dojo you were introduced to. You could be practicing there and not be in anyone's way. Granted, you wouldn't get another Kumiko encounter, so teenage me is happy, but teenage me isn't writing these sins. Adult me is. No one will be seated while Daniel learns how to line dance.
You insult my honor again, and I kill you.
How did he insult your honor? Kumiko then throws a tomato at, was this guy's name Choosy? Choppy? Oh, Chosen, with a Z, right. Super terrifying spelling, by the way. And I appreciate Kumiko's expression of anger and her following her own impulse in a culture that tells her not to. But with Daniel on the ground in agony, is right now the right time to stand up to Chosen? Well, at least the bullies left the baby rattle drum behind. This movie is as obsessed with crossfading to water shots as I am with forcing college girlfriend jokes, and in both cases, someone was probably complaining it wasn't wet enough.
Never keep lady waiting.
Unless we're talking about, like, intimacy and stuff. And sometimes, I've heard, like, making her wait for a bit. Hey, where'd all these YouTube censors come from?
Now every piece goes away. Sato, he sells it to museums.
The museums that are paying for these pieces of old Japan history are the real evil in this movie.
Legend is, if you race up to the castle and win, your wish will come true. Oh yeah? Yeah.
Come on! At this point, can we just call the movie Castle Racing Kid and just end it now?
Coming to the dance tonight. Bring your friend.
Discount BD, well, holy sh**.
That's Sato's dojo.
This is like when a dog sees a squirrel. You just need to grab the leash and hold it tight so that the Daniel-san doesn't get away. This evil nephew guy beats the hell out of 4 attackers until you run it back in slow motion and realize that the most any of these attackers did was move slightly in his direction.
What's going on in here?
This bad place. We don't want to go in here.
Hey, come on, let's check it out.
Daniel completely ignores her advice without a single bit of discussion, and I'm beginning to think this relationship might not last until Karate Kid 3.
Well, let's find out.
Just like in the first film, the bully is always everywhere that Daniel might happen to go. Jesus. Sudden Miyagi is sudden, and Yukie too.
I cannot cover that.
You are covered.
The speed at which every primary in the cast was able to get to this bar indicates a possible teleportation device, and this movie will never address it. Thing I mutter under my breath at this movie every 5 minutes somehow makes it into the script. Huzzah! The thing we all expected to happen has happened, and Daniel has broken 6 giant ice blocks despite never having trained for this kind of thing, all because Miyagi taught him mindfulness.
Tell Uncle I am farmer, not fighter.
Yes! Kill those vegetables! Destroy them! Sorry, I've been waiting so long for some actual fighting that I'd settle for the Carrot-y Kid at this point.
Your fear make ears think.
Rejected Taco Bell slogans. You know, for a tiny little community that has been displaced by the American military base, they sure do have a lot of great 50s style dancers and a swinging nightlife.
Oh, no, not again. Hey, I'm not looking for any trouble.
Maybe trouble looking for you.
Or maybe you're in a poorly constructed screenplay where the primary narrative tension is derived from using coincidences to keep putting the protagonist and antagonist together in the same spaces. As a possible third option.
What are you guys doing here?
These 2 henchies who just happen to be waiting and hiding at the door Daniel comes out of. Yes! Kill those paper posters! Destroy them! Sorry, I've been waiting so long for some actual fighting that I'd settle for the Placard-Adi Kid at this point. Sorry, that pun was paper thin. Finally, there's a fucking karate-ish fight in this movie. I'm not going to take a cent off because the movie is nearly over. But that was your spear. Danny, how's the peeping? How's the peeping? Danny.
I would stay if I could.
I have to protect Daniel-san in the US for at least one more movie. Then I will need to bridge the gender gap and train a girl. Perhaps after that, I can hand the baton off to another and come to Okinawa to be with you, or at least your ashes.
What can I do to ease your pain?
Not leave for the second time, asshole! Oh no, not bulldozers. The end of Avatar is encroached on the end of Karate Kid 2.
I see you here, midnight.
What advantage is there to fighting at midnight in a town this small? I mean, some people will be asleep to begin with, but then there's the issue with light. Why not noon? Doesn't noon make more sense?
Miyagi, I wait long time for this.
You and me both, Sato. You and me both.
For tomorrow, everything gone. Their homes, their church, everything gone.
Does Okinawa have no laws? What kind of country just lets rich people do whatever they want? I'd give all the sins back if Daniel tripped and got Final Destination by those window shards right now. Yes! Pour boiling water all over that herb. Destroy it! Sorry, I've been waiting so long for some actual fighting that I'd settle for the Karate Kid at this point. Oh, damn! Daniel's f***ed now. Damn it! This whole f***ing movie is one giant skip. How does a storm this severe just freaking sneak up on people?
Sato's in there!
Now we have to go save that piece of shit, Sato. Fine, I'll allow it as long as Kumiko and Daniel end up together forever. Well, that's just some bullshit. Look, this whole sudden plot convenient storm is sudden section of the movie is a bit chaotic, but I think the movie is suggesting that Daniel takes down a power line here by flailing his belt at it, and I'm gonna say no to that.
Forgive me. I beg you. Oh, Sato. Nothing to forgive.
Having sat through this movie, I can report that there are indeed a few things to forgive. This town must have the best party planners ever, because I don't know how they managed to clean out the storm damage from the castle this quickly, let alone get all the decorations and get them set up in a place they didn't even know they would be in until yesterday. I love Kumiko, you love Kumiko, but this dance is way too long.
Behind you!
Somehow Daniel is the first one to see Chosen police story his way in here, even though he is making a ruckus directly above and almost kicks a member of the orchestra in the face.
Daniel-san, it's not tournament. It's for real.
Miyagi admits that the All Valley tournament was rigged. The movie takes exactly 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 44 seconds, a full 94% of its runtime, for the kid to finally f***ing karate. Franchise admits that the crane kick is dumb and easily defeated by the advanced tactic of, checks notes, grabbing the leg. Not the rat-a-tat-tat of the drum toy. Not the thing Daniel never figured out. Not the f***ing Miyagi karate family secret. Good thing for Miyagi, every citizen came with our personal drum tonight, just in case they needed to inspire Daniel by doing the handheld percussion version of the slow clap. So I guess the trick the drum taught Daniel was to punch the other guy when he tries to punch you? Am I reading this mystical karate technique correctly?
Live or die, man.
Die.
Wrong.
Bookending nose honkers.
Got your nose. Oh, yeah? Well, I got your face.
Hey, wait. Excuse me, are you Hootie?
If you're reading this, you've gotten out. And if you've come this far, maybe you're willing to come a little further.
This line is huge. And it's like this all the time.
You break a log like that?
Don't know. Never been attacked by tree.
There have been no endings for a terrible long count of years.
So, coward, you return to settle affairs with father.
I am your father.
I guess I'm gonna have to report you.
I'm Kumiko.
Please say it don't make any difference, Aunt Belle. Please. You gotta say. You gotta tell me it don't make any difference.
Wow, where'd you learn it?
I don't scratch my head unless it itches, and I don't dance unless I hear some music. I will not be intimidated. That's just the way it is.
Hey, I want to check that out. Come on.
I gotta check this out, Doc.
Fear is why you leave.
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it?
The guy got hit in the ball.